Hello. I'm just getting the music pulled up for us. And thank you for your patience. I'm not ignoring your messages. I've just had a million other things, and I will get back to you today about all that.
Yeah, I submitted my the application is submitted.
That's so awesome. And what's the timeline they've given you?
1 to 2 weeks.
Okay, that's about right. So, yippee! So, 1 to 2 weeks, and then we'll be in doing business coaching, getting things started. I love it, love it, love it. And I'm for sure knowing that. We will definitely work out something to get you a ticket for Art of Expansion. So put it on your schedule, plan for it.
Yes, I have actually been keeping that one open. I'm
Oh,
like,
good. You're like, I'm
I don't
holding space
know.
for it. It's gonna happen. We're gonna do it.
I just don't know if I can be gone 3 weekends in a row because I feel like I need to make choices with my family and stuff like that. So
Well,
I have,
how about the choice that you're home all the other days of the week and then 2 days? So you're home. Guess what? I'm home with them 5 days a week. You're home with them 2 days. Surprise! That's a choice. That's a really great deal. What's the 3 weekends? So there's Art of Expansion. The next weekend is Nationals. What was the next the other one?
there's an energy healing conference in Idaho,
Oh, fun.
my super patch business.
Oh, oh, cool. With
So
Tammy Ward's Energy Healing Conferences that I talk about. Cool.
yeah,
I mean, literally, look at it like that. I'm home with them 5 days, 5 out of the 7 days. I'm taken to and doing this. That's still a pretty gay trade. Like we're equal partners in this whole parenting thing, half and half, right?
yeah, but I just need to swing it by my husband. See,
Be the queen that
yeah,
you are. Let him step up and be the king that he is.
yes, yeah, totally. Yep,
It's
that's all gonna happen.
it's beautiful. Okay, while we're getting people ready and or getting people loaded on, um, hello Rachel, hello Josephina, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am feeling drawn to, as I was tuning in for the class, we are needing some yellow. We are needing some solar plexus empowering energy. Now, remember the way that I teach, so the way that most people teach solar plexus is that it's the fire in your belly that lights up that energy and like propels you to move forward, right? Which is true. And that is lovely and beautiful and amazing. And that is a beautiful, beautiful gift. In addition, it's also the power that goes, my worth is infinite and is not based on anything that I do or don't do. That being said, we live in a physical world and physical action is required. Hi, Candace, welcome. So, what are the physical actions that need to be taken? What are you feeling inspired to do in order to receive the desires of your heart? Those things that you want to have happen. Big, little, doesn't really matter. So being aware, hello, Renee, welcome, welcome. Being aware, we're going to do a solar plexus exercise here. This is to light that energy in your belly, to motivate you and give you that energy to stand your ground, to know your worth, and if and when it is appropriate, to take those inspired actions with confidence, standing in your true power, your true queen goddess energy. Okay? So we're going to start the music. Somebody, once it gets started, somebody give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and let me know, let me, or make sure that it is, that you can hear it. Okay, so we're standing and we're moving and we're starting with just nice and slow, big, expansive movements, opening up in the back, expanding and opening the chest, the core, all the way down through your hip flexors, and then crunching down in and expanding the back while condensing, contracting the front part. So open, contract, put in tempo, expand, contract, expand, almost like you're pulling through honey or molasses, this big sticky gooey mess, and then contracting down into the front, letting everything in the back all the way down to your hips open up. One more big, nice, expansive, slow. Ah, nice, beautiful. Now we're gonna speed it up. Open and close. Open and notice that even as I'm saying expand, this is contracting. And then as I say contract, this is expanding. There's this constant ebb and flow between the two. Good. Give yourself a nice, strong, solid foundation. Hips open wider than hip width apart. And begin to sway, bringing in some hip movement in. All the way down, even through your feet, feeling your feet solid on the ground. Swaying your body. Bringing it all in together. Good. And then if you can, now we're going to make the movement a bit smaller and just keep it to almost like a crunch or like a twerking movement almost. Right? You can be like, oh, working. Oh, yeah. Tuesday mornings, I go to a super fun Zumba class. I'm like, it shouldn't even be allowed to have this much fun on a Tuesday morning. It just feels so good. Beautiful. Okay. Take a nice deep breath in. Hold still for a moment. In through your nose. Do you feel your belly and your abs and even your chest and down into your hip flexors and your back? Do you feel the energy there? Can you feel the warmth, the heat, all of that vibrational movement? We have just stirred up all the energy there. We're letting it awaken and realign. Good. Now we're going to do this old movie that I love to watch called it The Washing Machine. I mean, you guys seen the Selena movie with Jennifer Lopez years ago in like the 90s. It's so good. And they're teaching her to dance. And they're like, and now we do the washing machine. Do that. So you're moving your hips around, doing a hip circle. So you're expanding your abs and now crunching your abs in. Expanding and contracting. Again, waking up all this energy. For a lot of women, this is their problem area. Their waist, their hips, stuff like all this, the belly area, right? And it's because one of the reasons is because we won't stand in our true power. We give our power away, let it be taken away. Go a little bit faster now. Feet. Good. And now just feel your muscles in there and just move. Again, you can sway with your hips so that you're getting more movement back and forth, side by side. You're just like, that's the best I can do. Just stand here and circle my hips. Whatever feels good. And now, whatever direction you were going, I want you to go the opposite direction. Down the other way, nice and slow. There'll always be one direction when you're doing movements like this. There will always be one direction that feels really more comfortable and another that you're like, I don't think my body can do that. Good. When you're ready, go a little bit faster. Again, you can just keep it nice and smooth going faster. You can do it more with more attitude. I love this part of the music because the music gets kind of messy. There's a lot going on. It's just a reminder that no matter what is going on, I am solid. I know who I am. Beautiful. Okay. Am I done sharing? Oh, let's see. Make it go away. Oh, there it is. Stop share. Okay. Okay. What did you feel? What did you notice? What did it bring up?
Felt like a good stretch.
I agree. Felt like a good stretch, a good awakening of that energy. Love it. Anybody else? Pros or cons? What did you love about it? What were you like, oh my gosh, that was awful. I hate my belly. Or, oh, I forgot how much I love my belly. I'm so grateful for all this energy. What's coming up for you?
Um, for me, it was I'm in my mid 50s, so my menstrual cycles aren't exactly regular anymore.
Hmm.
But this week I must have did some major clearing because like everything is starting to flow, you
Okay.
know. So I'm like, oh yeah, I like it.
Yes, good. And that's such a beautiful, if when we can get to that relationship with our menstrual cycle of, oh, thank you. This is so beautiful. I am so grateful. And becoming and developing that relationship with your body. So, 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 so powerful. And we don't have to love bleeding. Like, I don't know, that's anybody's favorite thing to have discharge from your body, right?
But it's almost biblical, like, because it's been, you know, like very sporadic. Like this was like cycle number 3 in the year or something like kind of a thing.
Awesome.
And so it's kind of like almost like biblical. Like one time I was curious about it, so turned to the scriptures. I'm like, when I looked at blood, it's the atonement. It's the whole, you know, and I've been trying to figure out where you talked about the blessings of that cycle in your thing. And I was like, I would like
Yeah.
to, is there stuff I should be doing? I haven't gotten all the way through, but I'm like,
Let me look at my notes and I'll tell you right here what the one is. Um,
oh. But
let,
we are flow. I mean, it is flow. Like I am flow.
yep,
So
100%. And it's a matter of, there it is, the curriculum. It's a matter of being intentional about it. I feel like more than anything. So it's module number 3 that I talk
okay.
about divine cycles and menstrual cycles. So if anybody hasn't gotten to module 3 yet or needs a review, we talk about that in there, and all the symbolism of it and everything. Um, yes, 100% to it, referring to the atonement, cleansing, clearing, releasing. Super, super beautiful and powerful part. And so if we can recognize that and honor our bodies, and really, for me in the past, the only reason that I wasn't okay with being on my cycle or on my period and having that the bleeding and everything was if it felt like it was keeping me from doing the things that I wanted to do, because I had a lot I want to do and there's a lot to get done, and I had, all this stuff. And so then it becomes, okay, are you willing to take time? Are you willing to let things maybe take longer than they should, than you think they should, and be on a different timeline? Are you willing to trust your body and trust that this is happening for a reason to bless you, and be willing to let it take more time than we think it should sometimes? So beautiful, beautiful awareness. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. Anybody else on that subject or on anything else? This is your time to ask your questions. Rachel.
Hi, Denisha. I'm driving in my car,
Hi,
so
Tina.
I was just listening, but I'm also distracted because I'm driving.
Awesome.
But anyway, I haven't gone through the modules, so I guess I need to do that.
Yes.
Um, but you were talking about cycles, and last week, I just wanted to share, last week I went on this retreat with a couple of my college friends, and it was so beautiful to be with these women who I haven't spent a lot of time with because we've all been busy raising families, and we haven't seen each other since college, but no, that's not true. We just don't see each other often.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and we haven't spent a significant amount of time together without our kids around. But we all work remotely. So we all went to the Redwood Forest in California, and we
Oh,
worked from 6 a.m. to noon, all of us on our computers in our own special space. And then we all came together, and then we would go hiking and biking and walk on the beach. And
oh, that sounds
and then
amazing.
we all like got really into cooking roasted vegetables and green smoothies and like nourishing our bodies as best we could and nourishing our spirits as best we could, but still while maintaining our businesses. And it was a beautiful experience, and it proved to me that I can go any exotic place and like keep my business going and still take care of myself in a way that honors me. And it was, oh, I just loved it. And so I came
Oh,
home, and I also started fasting in a way that matches my cycle, because you were just talking about the cycle. And so this week I'm kind of doing but like I really researched out like what's the best type of fasting to achieve what I want, but also to honor my cycle. So this week I have like my fasts planned out, and next week is the week before my cycle. So I'm not going to fast very aggressively at all. It's going to be very gentle next week.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm just feeling good, and I'm feeling
Love
optimistic
that.
because I took a whole week to just like feed my body really well and feed my spirit really well. And then I came home and I can do this sort of aggressive fasting, and then I am already planning in to take care of my cycle. Anyway, I'm just feeling good. Feeling
I
so
love
good.
that so much, Gina. So, so beautiful. I have seen over and over and over in my life and in my clients, when we take care of our bodies as a treasured, beloved friend, and like literally see our bodies that way, they will reciprocate. They will reciprocate in the most beautiful, magical, miraculous ways. And it is just incredible. So I love that, Gina. Thank you for sharing that and for that example. That's beautiful, 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 beautiful. So fun. Rachel, did you have something you wanted to share or ask?
Yeah, just what I noticed with the movement and the sacral, and then kind of what we had mentioned last night on our call is
Mhm.
just that movement. Like in the beginning, feels a little awkward, disconnected, not flowy. I thought if I saw myself, I don't feel flowy. And then I just kind of been thinking the things that I'm working on are the things that are coming into my space. I have a co-parenting relationship. I've got relationships with my kids. I've got relationship with myself. I have a business relationship. I all feel kind of stuck, stagnant, and like, but I can feel my potential out there. It's the sitting down and focusing. And just this last week, I'm realizing how truly interconnected they all are. I get my kids yesterday, and it was a heavy day, and I feel I'm exhausted. It's 7 o'clock. I feel heavy. And I'm like, "Oy," you know, just all these mental realizations. But now, how do I guess, flow in all aspects? Because I now
Mhm.
I was like, oh man, they are so connected.
Yes.
If I'm
Yeah.
pissed off at the co-parent, I'm not doing so great in this area, or I get distracted. It robs me energetically. Somehow I allow it.
Yes. So give us an
Mm.
update from last time, our last call about how things are going with your co-parent and you like realizing, oh, that was then, this is now, that is his, this is mine. Give us kind of an update on how all that is coming along.
I guess it kind of seems like it's with every situation or topic that arises that I feel like we need to discuss or work on for the kids. I sometimes I revert back to old ways, or I mirror him, and
Mhm.
I'm not getting a lot of feedback from him at all. It's mainly through the kids, which is, you hope it's accurate, but I'm realizing I I can only control me and my mental health and emotions. And I multiple times I remember you telling me, like just just give it to God. There's this little string here, Jesus, he's yours. And I've had to practice that in other ways, and because it's like I choose to be happy or not pulled down by these things. So it's taking practice, and
100%.
it's and kind of this long-term realization that he's been doing this for years and years and years. So why am I expecting change right now? Like, no, look at what you can expect, and move forward. Like, I want freedom from that. I want financial freedom. I want this type of freedom, and I'm and the long-term goal is like my connection with my kids, this co-parenting relationship isn't, I mean, I've got 10 more years left with the youngest one, right? So it's not going to last forever, but I want my relationship with my kids to last forever. So
Yes.
how am I going to handle the co-parenting junk? Is it
Figure
going to
it
be
out.
junk or is it just going to be fluff that I'm like, whatever.
And
I'm choosing
that's
this.
I love that you say it that way, Rachel, because it literally one of the thoughts that flows through my mind now that just happens, but I had to like practice and integrate it when I first started using it was, oh, this is a level 2 problem and I'm a level 10 person, so this is not a big deal. This is like no big deal.
I love that.
Things what right? Things that literally would have like set me over the edge and like all this stuff. Now it's like that's a level 2 problem and I'm a level 10 person, so this is not a big deal. And it literally just like immediately is like like takes all the energy from like to when you're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
like is it even deserving of my time and energy and attention, or is it just something that's like, huh, that's interesting. I'm not even gonna look at that right now. Like that'll have to work itself out. God, that is your problem, not mine. You know, whatever that
Oh,
needs to look like. And sometimes there is stuff that we're like, oh, I actually like I have a place in this. I need to do something. But more often than not, it's
oh,
God, that's your
yeah.
problem, not mine. I'm a
I
level
think
zero.
my hardest time with transitioning that thinking, if it's just me and it involves me,
Mhm.
great. But then if it involves my kids in a negative way, then I kind of go a little spastic, crazy, mama bear
Mama bear,
instead.
right? Mama
Yeah.
bear. Let
So
me let me pull up your chart because I want to look at your Lilith. There's a placement. So for anybody and everybody, this could be fun to look at.
in our
Uh,
human design chart, that's what
no,
you're
this is actually in your astrology chart this time.
astrology. Okay.
This is, let's pull you up, Rachel Taylor. The beautiful, amazing Rachel Taylor.
Thank you.
So there's a placement called your Lilith. So you've heard me talk before about your Chiron, and
Am.
almost everybody here has your Chiron in Taurus, which is a wounding around femininity and feminine energy, and with your body, and a lot of times with finances in some way or another, because of that Taurus is governed by Venus. So it's everything that Venus has to do with. Um, but your Lilith is another placement that is known as your inner bitch. And I don't use that word on a regular basis, but it is the best way to describe this type of energy. It's the part of us that comes out when we're like, oh no, you did not. Whether it's like us personally, whether it's something with our kids, like it can kind of be that mama bear type of energy that comes out and we're like, you what? You know, type of thing. So it's what tends to come out when we feel unloved, unappreciated, our needs are not being met, like it's not fair. And we kind of blow things out of proportion with this sometimes. It's just almost like this chaotic type of energy. So for yours, Rachel, your Lilith is in Capricorn in your third, no, excuse me, in your second house. So, um, Capricorn is wanting structure, organization. Sometimes it can be very controlling. And so it almost feels like, so I'll just read what it has here in my professional software that I'm looking at because it says it really well. You like to be in charge. There's nothing wrong with this trait. In fact, it means that you're often willing to take responsibility when others are not. However, the problem comes in that you don't recognize when you need to let go. You don't mean to impose your will on other people. At one level, you may believe that you can do a better job, or perhaps you think that you're the only one available. You may not be conscious of excluding other people, but you do. Sooner or later, those around you are likely to resent your need for control. This black moon represents the darker side of your nature, characteristics you know exist and need to address, but prefer not to acknowledge. This sensitive point in the Sirius sign of Capricorn in your birth chart, hence your need to be in charge of everything. So does any of that resonate with like feeling like you need to control things and trying to like not micromanage, but just like really wanting that structure and that organization and which could lead to control? Does any of that even resonate?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Because I haven't really seen that side of you. I haven't seen your Lilith come out, right? Which makes sense. Like I'm not
Well,
usually
I'm
with you
glad.
in stressful situations. For it's like to help any of you feel better, my Lilith used to come out and my kids called it Hulk mode. Dad, mom went into Hulk mode today, you know, type of thing. And I would literally just like I would literally do that. And it was kind of like type of energy. And I slam the door and like the kids just like get out of mom's way. And it was just, like it just felt like I could not I'd had it up to here and I just exploded. Mine's in Sagittarius, which is governed by Jupiter, very big, very type of energy, right? Like so whatever yours is, like don't feel bad. I probably got you beat with like how awful my and it's beautiful because I think I've had one explosion like that in the last 5 years. Like maybe two. You can change. It's something that can be healed and that gets better and that gets easier. But so a need to control, um, which then I think can come also might, as I'm feeling into it, could lead into like guilt tripping is kind of what's coming to mind of guilt tripping people into like and kind of that martyr, right? Like everything's up to me and I'm in charge of everything and I have to end up, and if I don't do this then everything falls apart and blah 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 and can and or lead to guilt tripping and martyrdom. Does that resonate at all?
Yeah, I not so much. I can still see it where I do it with my kids.
Okay.
Um, it's come down as I've had to learn I don't have as much control.
Which is
The
like
divorce
everything
kind of.
happens for a reason, right? So if this is the
Yeah,
best that God in the universe is like, she's got to learn this. Like, what's the quickest, fastest, most effective way? Ah, yes, here we go.
yeah, yeah. I think I still kind of mentally do that to myself though, like
Yeah.
beat up on myself because you said you were going to do all of this and you had this planned and yet you still didn't get it done. You are
Mhm.
lacking. You are
Yes.
not capable, so that's the harder part
Yes. And
for me.
because it's in your second house, it's going to have to do with what you value in general. Most of us think of that as money, but it goes to anything that you value. So how are you
Mhm.
trying to control your values and the things that you value? Like even your kids, your
Yeah.
finances, obviously. But so what comes to mind, and you'll have to tell me if it resonates, and if not, we just float it down the river. um feeling like feeling responsible for the experiences that your kids are having, feeling guilt around what you and your husband have put them through by choosing to your ex-husband by choosing to divorce, and like everything that now they are having to face and go through and experience because of it, and you feel maybe that guilt or whatever for what has happened there, and then now you're trying to like doing your best to trying to control and make sure that they don't have any problems, they don't have any worries, they don't have like anything that you feel might impact them negatively.
Yeah, it really resonates. I'd say in the last year to 18 months, it's transitioned
Good.
to being, healthier, but it's
Yeah. Which
still
is
learning.
which is really hard. Like we don't ever want to have our kids have to go through hard things, much less hard things that happen because of a result of our decisions, right? Like
Right.
that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, in the last 18 months, like my son's gone on a mission, another son has changed his attitude. Uh, I think there's unseen blessings from just him being on a mission and the
100%.
heart's turning, but it's also like me just letting go, be like, okay, I'm not going to yell today. I'm not going to beat up on myself today, and we're going to read scriptures. That's what I can do, and that it helps, and it like just I can. It's like taking a step back and being like, oh, I can see God orchestrating things. I didn't have to be so controlling about it all. He's got it all.
And
That's
that's
flow,
the feminine
right?
energy, is the allowing, the receiving, the flow, and
Mm.
the trust, right? Instead of the control and trying to micromanage and trying to be like, no, we have to do this, so this, so this, so that this happens, right? It's like, I have no control over what happens. I really, really don't. Like, no matter what we think, we really don't. And what's going to happen is going to happen. And we're going to learn and grow no matter what happens. It's going to come. And I've shared this here before, but I'm going to share it again because we have new people. I used to think that no matter, like literally, I would have conversation with people and be like, I feel like no matter what I do, I'm screwing up my kids. If I try too hard, then they grow up, and I know I have friends that say, my parents did this and they were so strict and da, 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 all this stuff. And now I'm doing whatever I want because I'm not going to be under that, like that controlling energy. I also have friends who are like, my parents, like they never cared, they never enforced anything, they never this, da, da, da. And I just like, I don't feel like they actually loved me. And I was like, no matter what you do, you're screwing up your kids. Like, no matter whether you try or you don't try, like, you're just screwing up your kids. And I was in a situation where someone said to me, what if you choose to believe that no matter what you do, you can't screw up your kids? Because ultimately, how your kids end up is not your job or your responsibility. You're here to lead, guide, walk beside. They're God's before they were yours. And guess what? Knowing all your weaknesses, knowing all your faults, knowing all your strengths and everything that was going to happen, God chose to send them to you. Chose you as their mother, chose him as their father. So, for whatever reason, this is exactly what they're needing to experience to learn exactly what they're here to learn. And we learn things that we're like, I love how my parents did that, how my mom did that, and my dad did that, whatever. I love that. And I'm going to do that when I'm a parent, or I'm going to make sure I integrate that when I'm an adult. And they also learn things I hate, how my mom or my dad or my parents did that. I hate that we had that rule. I'm never going to do that.
Mm.
One way or another, they're learning, and they're learning exactly
Yes.
what they need. And we don't know what they need. We think that we know what they need as their parents, but we don't. Only God knows. And he will make sure that they get what they need. So
Mm.
whatever is happening is obviously what needs to happen. And I hope everybody, this isn't just Rachel, this is everybody. Because no matter where you are in parenting, in a marriage, with your kids, in any with your job, with clients, no matter what's happening, you are not responsible for anyone else's outcome. All you're responsible is your own. You do your best to be in alignment, to trust God, to be the very best version of you. Follow what you feel like you need to do in your life. And that is actually the way that we love and serve and support others the most, especially for all of us here as generators. Literally. You taking care of you, you honoring you, you developing you, you trusting you is how you serve and love and support the people around you. And it feels selfish. Go ahead and be selfish. Just own it. I am a selfish person. If that's what you need to do, if that's what you need, like that bridge that you need to cross before you start realizing, oh, it's not actually being selfish. It's actually honoring my energy, because when I honor my energy, I honor others people's energy too. You're welcome, Melanie. Rachel, does that help?
Yeah, it does. Is it okay if I share kind of a like a aha moment as we were both kind of talking?
Yes.
Because I'm single, I don't have like the masculine in my home,
Mhm.
and I'm learning to be more feminine, right? Be, or tap into that masculine. And part of me, my head always goes to like, I don't have that. I don't want to be that. But like, just, it was just kind of like a aha moment of, I have been working with the masculine, it just not in the way that I think or want. Like, I would reach out to my bishop or my brother and they gave me blessings. Or if I step back and let it happen, Heavenly Father just took care of things. And so it's like, okay, so if I just keep being me and being my feminine, masculine still comes. It just doesn't look the same way that
No.
I want
And
right now.
yeah. Yes. And it comes, masculine will always come. Like it's more of the in our society, in our version of this of life right now,
Yeah.
masculine is a dominant. It will always come. We have to consciously open up and trust and choose the feminine to allow that to come. Masculine is kind of the default. for now. It's shifting, it's changing. That's kind of where we're at. So yes, I love that, Rachel. And the more that you step into your divine feminine, the more that divine masculine rises, because there has to be equal and opposite, right? So if you're
Mhm.
not embodying the masculine, guess what? Someone else or something else has to. It has to,
Mm,
to be that equal and opposite for you.
well, that makes sense. Just with that friend weekend that we had, and there were more guys than girls, and I was like, what? And they were amazing, healthy, masculine guys.
Like, wait, how did that happen? There's always more
Yeah,
women than men, right?
yeah. You insist? What? So,
Love that. Love, love, love that. Thank you for sharing, Rachel. That blesses all of us. That was
mm,
great awareness and great understanding for everybody. Does that feel complete for now?
yeah,
Good.
that's great. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Hey, who's next? Josephine, are you trying to unmute?
Yeah.
There it
I'm
goes.
like,
I'm like,
every time I try to mute, I'm like
continue
tapping.
talking.
I hate
Like,
that
come
too.
on.
Uh, uh, my Pax Moon Lilith is in Aquarius.
Let's look and see. The beautiful Josephina. Where are you at? So Aquarius is fun. I'm learning more and more about Aquarius, and it just cracks me up because Aquarius is known as, it's like this. In fact, when I was first learning astrology, I was telling my mentor, I was like, I'm not really understanding Aquarius. And she just busted out laughing. She's like, yep, that's about right for Aquarius. Like it's kind of a conundrum, shall we say, because Aquarius is known as the humanitarian of the zodiac, but it's also known as the rebel of the zodiac. It's a humanitarian because it cares about people, or is also like people are dumb and they are idiots, and we should like what's the what was it? There's a meme, a minion meme, that's like they've got like roasting marshmallow sticks and stuff like that, and they're like, I'm not, oh, what is it? Oh, I'm gonna mess it up because I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's so funny. Where it's something like, I'm not saying we should just get rid of all those stupid people. We should just like remove all the instructions from things and just see who survives, or like something kind of along that line, right? Like it was so funny. I'm like, that is so Aquarius. And my son, my oldest son, is Aquarius, and he's literally on the people are idiots spectrum of things. So there's either the people are idiots or the I love people and I want to help people and I want to serve people and I want to change people, blah, blah. And it's also the rebel of the zodiac, not necessarily in like a, like, I'm a rebel and I'm going to wear my leather jacket and I'm going to like do what all this stuff. It's more of like a non-conformist of that's like, you say these are the rules, but I do not think it means what you think it means. And I think these rules are dumb. And so I'm not going to follow those rules. I'm going to do these things over here because that makes more sense. Those rules are dumb, type of a thing. So I feel like with a Lilith in Aquarius, I mean, there's a million different ways, but I feel like you're gonna lean more towards one or the other of those. And then that kind of yeah. What does any of that resonate for you? What are you hearing, feeling, seeing?
um, so I disconnect when I get upset.
Hmm.
My husband doesn't like that. He wants to talk about it,
See, and
and I
yours is
just need space.
your Lilith is in your seventh house, which is your relationships, like your deep, deep, like partnership relationships. So it'd be like if you had a business partnership, it would be that, but primarily it's your marriage partnership. And
Yeah.
so there's like this, and we've talked about this before, right? Where you're like, I want to be close, but I also like want to do my own thing, but I want to be close, but I want to like have my own time and my own space and do what I want, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, awareness is golden, right? Like even just being aware that you're like, oh, okay, I tend to maybe blow things out of proportion or go into, the martyrdom or life's not fair. Melanie and I were just talking about this yesterday with her Lilith of like it can be very much a I'm not fair and I never get what I want. And so I'm gonna go off and do my own thing and screw all of you type of a thing, right? Um, it's gonna look different for everybody. You tell me, what are you, how are you seeing this, and what awareness do you now have that can be helpful for the future?
I want to like wish it could tie it all together to like one experience, but it's just like, well, my inner world is a lot deeper than my outer world,
Uh,
and um, so I think it makes vulnerability hard,
mm-hmm.
and also I feel like rejection sensitivity sometimes when I'm just like I want to have connection, but I don't want to like put myself vulnerably out there.
Yes.
And I think authenticity is also challenging because uh you just have it's just like you have to find what part of you is being programmed and what part of you is authentic to connect because uh yeah, yeah,
Yes.
there's that shadow of authenticity where you doubt where which part of you is authentic.
And that is why a lot of our work here and with the dance modules and everything is getting you out of your head and into your body, into your sacral. Because in your body, in your sacral, that's where you're authentic.
Yeah.
The
I did
head.
have an experience
Yeah.
this weekend. I went we had a dance with some girls in the neighborhood
So fun.
and was just dancing and found out a lot of them were related.
Oh, fun.
And this one girl, I was just dancing with her and she's like, you look like you're so in tune with your body. Like you just move to whatever you feel like. And she's like, I've only seen that twice in my life.
Oh,
And once with the lady that she went to a concert with. And then she's like, I was like, oh, thank you. And I was like, I'm taking a belly dancing.
but see, it's that femininity, that part of the connection with our body that most people aren't willing to show and to accept and to receive. I love that, Josephina. Yay!
Yeah,
So fun.
something to
So fun.
celebrate.
100%, 100%. So being aware of that Lilith energy, and that tending to go into victim, blow things out of proportion, energy there around your close relationships. And then also I was just realizing it also has to, and we've talked about this before with like your friendships and stuff. Aquarius is all about your alliances, your connections, your friendships. Um, so some wounding and disconnect and just maybe some challenge around um finding like you want to be a part of groups and tribes and stuff, and it just you might sometimes not feel like you find that in the way that you want it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just knowing that, and that sometimes a part of that is it's like it's not me, it's you, right? Or it's not you, it's me. Some of that is because of you, because you tend to, and I don't know you outside of like our conversations with coaching and stuff, so I've never seen you and just like with a group of friends and stuff, but it might be interesting just to notice like, okay, are there ways where I'm the one that's actually causing the problem, for lack of a better word. I'm the one that's actually causing the disconnect or causing the contention or causing whatever it is that you're feeling is not allowing you to have those close friendships. And then because it's in your seventh house with your relationships, I'm actually the one that is causing or keeping it from really being as beautiful as it could be. And I feel like a lot of the time for a lot of us that are very sensitive and very aware and very much in like the energy and the unseen, and especially with your Scorpio moon, that could very much be because you want so much depth and because you are so sensitive and so aware. I was talking with Melanie about this yesterday. Then nobody can ever meet our expectations and match that depth. And so we're just kind of like it's not even worth it, or like you're not, we blame them for not coming to meet us when really a lot of times they're like, I didn't know how I can like do what she's wanting or like meet her where she wants to be because it's too deep. They're here and we're frustrated in that gap. We expect them to come down here to us in that depth. And they're like, why can't she just come up here to me? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
As I'm sharing that, what comes up for you? Does it
Oh
resonate?
yeah, because I met some incredible people this weekend, and I'm like trying to find the right schedule with them, and I'm like, I don't want to change my schedule to be with them. I want their schedule to be with me. And so I have this
Mm,
block of, well, if they're not going to do it this time, it's just not going to be the right time. And but then I'm like not even responding to like set up a time. So I feel like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Just that,
And then maybe you complain and feel frustrated because you don't have any friends or anyone to do anything with. And it's like, well, you're not willing to make things work so that you can be friends with them, right?
yeah, that's what it is. That's like, I don't want to change my schedule.
And like maybe, it will be being aware in each situation. Is this not jiving or our schedule's not connecting because it's not the right relationship, it's not the right connection, and I need to hold out for one that does feel more flowy? Or is this me realizing, oh, in friendships and in relationships, you have to give and take, right? Like that's just how it goes. So do I need to give that in order to be able to have this relationship with these people? It could go either way.
Yeah,
Any
this
more
feel good.
insight about that?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, like, where that's all coming from, that my disconnect. But there's two places in my chart, so that's good to know.
Yeah, you got your Taurus and your Lilith are kind of like the two challenges that really can become beautiful gifts once we understand them and can, I mean, awareness is the first step in healing, right? So just recognize like, oh, I see you, Lilith. I see you, girl. And being like, yeah, and I get it. Maybe we don't want to, like I said, maybe we don't want to adjust our schedule to fit that group or whatever. Like it's not worth it to me. Okay, fine. But then also don't whine and complain that you don't have any friends because you did have the opportunity to have friends, you just chose not to. And not that you're whining and complaining. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
the inner voice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm holding out for the right people that fit my schedule and blah, blah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Good awareness. Good awareness. Candace, Renee, Melanie, anyone else?
Tisha, can I ask a question if they don't have,
Yep, let's
uh,
go. Let's go with them first, since we already had a
okay.
chat for the beginning, and then if there's more time at the end, I'm happy to go back to you, Gina. And remember, you don't have to just wait till our calls to ask questions. That's what the community is for. Type, 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 type. Denisha, blah, 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 blah. And I say, okay, la 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 la, and we have this beautiful conversation back and forth in there.
Oh, in school, within school?
Yeah,
I've never
yeah,
made a message in school. Okay.
in the
Okay,
school
got it.
community. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, Renee, go ahead.
So this week has been a really big, heavy week in my house with one of
Okay,
my daughters and her mental health. It's been very challenging. Um,
deep
but
breaths.
I just said, okay, I'm going to take the time and the flexibility that's needed to be there because we didn't know how things were going to all turn out and when meltdowns were going to happen. And we've had lots of appointments with therapists and doctors and the school twice, and I never know when she's going to call me. Like she was the one on the phone at the beginning of our call, right? Call me from school, and it's been a lot. Um, and with my contractor job, I just kind of told them, "Hey, this is where I'm at," and they were very understanding. And most people have been very understanding. And so just taking the space that's needed,
Mm,
right? And recognizing I need space too to process everything.
yes.
As much as I have to be there for her, I have to take space to take care of myself so I can help her. And so we've just had a lot of like really slow moments and days and even hours sometimes of just, we just have a lot of rest and a lot of like
Mm,
healing and processing going on. And
Mhm.
there's still work things because last week I presented at a conference on Thursday. So as I'm dealing with this for 3 days, I'm also trying to get my stuff figured out for that, right? Um, but I just kind of just took what was the biggest priority and that's what we did. And everything else is fine. And there's no bookkeeping emergencies. As much as taxes are coming, that's what extensions are for, right? Like there's
Exactly
no
right.
bookkeeping emergencies, but my daughter is an emergency and is very important. And especially this last week has been the top priority of everything. And so just giving myself the permission and the space and the time to do all
Love
that
that.
has been really good. And I don't know. I mean, and I've done that before, but I think I've done it even coming from a different place
Mhm.
this time,
I
right?
love
And a
that.
really it's really okay for me to just sit and to be and to read a book or to take a nap because I need the time to do that. And so before it was like, okay, yeah, you got to rest, but I don't know. It just feels different, right? Like on the outside, none of this stuff looks a lot different. I still have a calendar that looks like Skittles exploded because all of the kids are color coded. I mean, you look at my calendar and it's nuts, you guys. It's crazy with 4 kids. And my calendar still looks the same, but inside it's different. I think I said that
Feels
last time
different.
too.
It feels
The
different.
inside is different. The outside still looks very, very much the same, but inside feels different.
And guess what? The external will always follow the internal. So as you change internally, your external world has to follow, but it has to start internally. And most of the time, we'd want the external to shift, to change without doing the internal work. But what's so beautiful with what you just shared, Renee, is that you're like, the outside still looks the same. For the most part, my outside still looks the same as well. But things are shifting big time for me this year after years of doing the internal work and small shifts happening on the external. Now it's like, whoosh, and we talked last time about this like progression and then the plateau and the progression and the plateau. It's like, oh my gosh, like talk about, oh, like everything's catching up and boom, here we go, right? But it starts with that internal, always, always, always. And so the external will change in whatever that is meant to look like, right? Whether it's like, I mean, you're still gonna have 4 kids, like that's not gonna change, right? But whatever it is that you're desiring, it has to follow because you're doing the internal work and you're changing how you feel inside. And now everything that's a vibrational match for you comes flowing in to this feeling. And what I hear, Renee, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I hear you saying is I'm learning to trust more.
Oh, that's my word of the month. I pick a word. I have a word of the year is co-create for the whole year, right? But I kind of each month ish or every couple like 6 weeks or so, I'm like, okay, now this is my thing. And it's trust for March because that's all I can do. I cannot control her and what's going to happen with her. All I can do is trust that hopefully what she needs is going to happen and I can do my part and that's all I can do. And it's pure trust. That's all I can do.
And what we talk about with Rachel, you're a level 10 person and this is a level 2 problem. So this is no big deal, even when it seems big. And as soon as you get kind of that perspective and you're like, oh, well, okay. And for you, it might be like, okay, well, then I'm filing extensions so that I can spend time with my daughter and help her with that. Level 2 problem. Guess what, everybody? Quick text, quick email. Guess what? We had a family emergency. I'm going to be filing an extension. Your taxes will be filed in May. Surprise! No big deal. And the people that do care that that is a big deal for it, great. They'll find someone new next year and you will have someone else in their place. Level 2 problem because you're a level 10 person. No big
Yeah.
deal,
Yeah.
no matter what. And because you trust. And God, the level that God will always rise to the level that we are willing to trust them. And I say them because mother and father co-creating, God and God is co-creating, right? They will always rise for us to the level that we're willing to let them in. Most of us aren't willing to trust at a very high level. So they don't have to show up in very huge ways in our lives, like just how it works, right? But the more we learn to rely on them and the more that we learn to trust them, they're just like, oh yeah, here we go. Like they will always rise to the level of what you expect. They will always fill whatever bucket you bring to them. So if we bring like a little cup, they're like, There you go. And if we bring a 5-gallon bucket, here we go. And if we bring a swimming pool or an ocean, here you go. They will rise to the level that you are inviting them in. Always, always, always.
I love that.
I love you. I love what you're experiencing and sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So cool. So happy for you and so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that feel complete? Is there anything else?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Melanie or Candace? I think you're the two we haven't heard from yet. Candace, go ahead.
Um, let's see. So my Lilith is in the eighth house in Libra.
Ah, and what does that mean to you?
Well, I was just reading up on it from I have the Astrogold app that tells me
Okay.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Which that's a really fun app for anybody that's wanting to dive more into astrology. It's a professional astrologer app, so it gives you descriptions and kind of readings on every placement, and it's really interesting. Like it may be really, really confusing if you don't know very much, but if you're wanting to learn more, that's a good start. So just FYI. And it is a paid for app. I think it's like 70 or 80 bucks. So it's kind of expensive for an app, but it's a one-time thing. So go ahead, Candace.
um, for me it was like $30 on
Oh, okay,
Android.
cool. Oh, cool. There you go.
So anyway, it just says stuff around death, sex, and birth because of the eighth house. And
Ah,
so and then I naturally attract things that are a little different. I'm like,
there you go.
oh, oh yay.
There you
So
go. Yeah, I love the eighth house. I've heard it called like the house of all the things that are taboo to talk about in polite company. It's like money, sex, death, taxes, like bodily functions. You know what I mean? It's just like we don't talk about that in this situation. And eighth house is like, oh yeah, we do. Here we go. Let's open it up. Ready? Here we go. So Candace. Hmm. Libra and Lilith in the eighth house. So that because Libra is all about wanting balance and wanting things to look and feel beautiful and comfortable. To me, that almost feels like, and again, like if it resonates, great. If not, float it down the river. It almost feels like you value that so greatly, that balance and that harmony and that like feeling comfortable, that if it's anything that's gonna cause, what's the opposite of balance?
chaos, you know.
Chaos, imbalance. I wanted to say disbalance, and I'm like, that is not a word. Anything that's going to cause imbalance, chaos that might feel uncomfortable to you or anybody else that would be affected by it, you're like, no, no, like we avoid this at all costs. In fact, I'm remembering now talking about this in your astrology reading that we did, the video I created for you. And so it's an awareness of that is where you are going to like and like have everything. And for you with it in Libra and eighth house, for me, it's a big explosion, right? For you, it might be like retreating back into a shell, like deep, deep, dark down. Like we're just gonna hunker down and hope that everything will kind of just we'll put the blanket over our head and hope that the monsters will go away.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
For me, it's outward. For you, it's like maybe everybody will just, if I can't see me, if I can't see them, they can't see me. Maybe they'll just go away. So recognizing when you feel hurt, when you feel unloved, unheard, unappreciated, whatever that is, that's gonna be your natural tendency to disconnect, to hunker down, to go away, to hide, instead of actually having the conversation that might resolve the problem, instead of actually expressing your feelings or your emotions around it, to share what you're feeling so that someone else can know, or like what comes to mind is also allowing someone else to share their feelings, because you might have blown it completely out of proportion, thinking that like it's going to cause this and this problem, this gonna, and the other person is like, no, I'm fine. Like it's not that big a deal. And you're like, oh, like it can go so many different ways. What are like, what's the aha that you're having with all of this?
Oh, that's interesting because I like I feel like I've been hiding in my cocoon for so long. And I've been disconnected for such a long time. And I was just talking to Heath about some things within our relationship and uh, trying to connect with him and communicate like
From
with
what we
him.
talked about in your call last week.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And uh, it feels like though that he just kind of backs away. He's like, I don't know what to do with this new person. I'm like,
Right? Right? And that's like when we shift and change, like that cause other people like to have to shift and change or like try and figure things out. I love the analogy of if you two, so say you and Heath, say you're really good at doing the waltz. Like your relationship right now, we're gonna relate it to a waltz. And it's like we are really good at waltzing. And maybe like waltz is kind of boring. It's not my favorite, but like we're good at it and we're just like it's comfortable. We're just gonna keep going, right? And then all of a sudden you come and you're like, Heath, we're gonna learn how to salsa. And Heath is like, I don't know how to salsa. And you're like, I don't know me either, but we're gonna figure out. And he's like, we do the waltz. That's what we do. And we're good at the waltz. Let's just keep doing that. And you're like, I know, but the waltz is boring. And I like the salsa looks so fun. Let's do the salsa. And he's like, I don't know. And so for a while, you're doing the salsa and he's still trying to waltz. And it's like just absolute chaos, right? And it's uncomfortable and it's there's disbalance. There's
right.
imbalance. You're stepping on
You're
toes
just
and you're
gonna make it a
I
word.
know,
It's
right?
a word now.
You're
Okay.
stepping on toes and you're bumping into each other and you're bumping into other couples and it's just like this weird chaos. And for a lot of people, they'll be like, that's it. This isn't working. We cannot salsa. Let's just go back to waltzing. Waltzing is fine. We'll just waltz the rest of our life. But if you're willing to be in that messy middle, is what I call it, then eventually you start catching on to the steps. And eventually you start moving and doing it together. And eventually you're not stepping on toes and you're not bumping into people and it becomes more comfortable and it becomes more normal and it becomes your new, and you're like, I can't, it's the only waltz. That's so boring. Like, look at what we can do with the salsa. And then there'll be something come along in the where it's like, and guess what? That might be Heath next time. And he's like, Candace, I just saw someone doing country swing. I want to learn country swing. And you're like, now we salsa. Like every single time it's going to cause like some shift and some discomfort and imbalance. But if you're willing to be in that messy middle of that discomfort, which for some people is really, really, really hard to do. But if you are
Mhm.
willing and the right time and the right place and everything will all come into play, and it's just getting through that messy middle part and just being like, yeah, that's the whole awkward till it's elegant. Like just that's just how it goes. So even if you can embrace that messy middle and be like, oh my gosh, I keep stepping on your toes. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to have this conversation and I'm not doing a very good job. And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just gonna go over here and keep waltzing. Come on, come over here. And you're like, nope, we're gonna salsa.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because we went on our first date country swing. That was our
Oh,
first.
there
That
you
was
go.
our first date. It was a
There
blind
you go.
date. So,
Oh,
and then we were just talking about we've had like three opportunities to go to some dances in the last 2 weeks.
hello.
And I was telling Keith that that it would be fun to take some dance lessons.
Yes, so fun. That's so funny that you've been using that, and then I use that analogy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, what's your takeaway from all this, Candace?
Enjoy the messy middle. Kind of that uncomfortableness as the change happens.
Literally, I had an experience with this a couple years ago where I was like, fine. Like, I literally was like, all right, God, I am willing to be in the messy middle. I'm going to stop wishing that I was ahead of where I'm at, and I'm just willing to be in the messy middle. And literally, within 30 minutes, I was on a call with my next coach and the person that brought me up like to the next level of where I needed to be. Like, happened that fast when I was finally like ready to acknowledge where I was, be okay with where I was. The next piece came in because it's always the oh, when we're pushing something away, we're actually like causing more attraction to it because that's what we're constantly thinking about. And as soon as we just surrender and we're like, okay, fine, guess this is where I'm at. Okay, let's do it. Then the next piece comes in.
Yes.
So fun. So, so fun. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Melanie, I know we had a big long chat yesterday. Is there anything that you would like help with before we sign off here? No? You're feeling good? Okay, any takeaways from today? Or any updates from yesterday?
Well, as we're talking about trust, and I was thinking about that YouTube video that you sent me about um, trusting Christ and believing that He's that constant, and just wanting to feel like His invitation to trust Him is more along the lines of from a good friend who truly cares and actually is like, no, this is actually pretty sweet and awesome over here. So you're going to love it, and it's not going to be a terrifying experience. So,
I
yeah.
love that. I'm gonna go ahead and share that in school as well, that video, because if you're a member of the church, which I think everybody here are, and member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, this will be a really powerful insight into your relationship with Christ. And it reminds me, if you have not already read or listened to Captivating, it's one of like my most recommended books. If anyone ever is like, what's your like top book for like that's made the biggest change in your life? I'm like Captivating by John and Stacey Eldridge. Absolutely incredible. Christ is pursuing you. God is pursuing you. They like brings everything in together that we've been talking about today. But I do thank you for that reminder, Melanie, because I'll post that in the group for those that would like to see that. Okay, awesome call. Thank you everybody for being vulnerable and for sharing. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. I want you to know that you each inspire me. Whenever I talk with you here on the group or in the academy or separately or whatever it is, and I hear your growth and I hear your challenges, I'm just like, I'm proud of you. And each one of us, whenever any single one of us choose in to trusting, to allowing, to receiving, to honoring our bodies, to connecting to any of these things, it gives permission for every other woman on the planet to do the same. And then it gives permission for every other man on the planet to rise into their power as well. And it is just, it is vital and it is beautiful and it is powerful. And I'm so, so grateful and proud of each one of you and grateful to be part of it. So I love, love, love you. Gina, put your question in the school community. Anybody that has any follow-ups to this, put them in the school
Okay.
community and we'll take it from there. Okay. Love, love, love you all. Have an awesome day. Talk to you soon. Bye.